to thrive in this law school, because we all know the history. Women have been underrepresented, and I must today give, a great appreciation to his administration for taking this up this mantle and having us here today to a place where we can call a safe home or a safe space, and that's the gender desk. The WOW office is going to be open. I know what it meant and what I went through as a student in need of counseling, in need of support from sisters when I didn't get it. And I don't hold it against anybody because, at that point, we just didn't know what to do. And there was a period of dormancy after Hawa Sano graduated, and the women of LAGSL that she had established, went dormant from that period. But giving the rejuvenation of the interest, and now that we have taken it a bit farther to, establish an office of role purposes, gathered and share their common interests, gather and share with sincerity what they go through here. And I will encourage every female to make use of that space, because I know it will be, for all of our benefits, because that'll be a place where you can in there, or the officers in there may not, be in a position to perform miracles, but I know for a fact that you will have a group of women who will be ready to listen, who will be ready to advise, and who will be ready to help you with whatever situation that you may go through. And that's what the program is intended for within our own community. If we strive amongst ourselves to be there for each other, no matter the situation, I trust you, we can be assured of doing incredible things. And before I take my seat, let me recognize all our male counterparts who have been very supportive along the way. And it's very evident here. We find many of them in our midst. Look at me. So they are here, can achieve greater things. Women's rights, we will be able to work together as males and females of this law school. There are men who are willing to work along with us. They are not far, they are not hidden. We just have to look a little bit, identify them, bring them closer, and work along with them as we move on in this great institution. And that will be it. But before I go, I hope that WOW program became dormant, that it lives on, it becomes a legislation that will be here to stay, so that when we shall have left the walls of the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law, we can be assured that our sisters and friends that will come here will be certain of a community of women that will be willing to accept and work with them. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Joyce, I hope they have not reduced what is a view of the gender decks. But just before we move on to that, let's carry. Where is she? She doesn't like to be in the front. She's in the back again. But we'll scout her out. So as Jeba explained, we have a warm fire somewhere that is putting heat into all that we do. So we want to recognize or honor George Eva Mape Morgan. She's been there from the Hawa Sano days, and she's still fueling this fire, and it's burning. You can see the flames already, and it's going to get hotter. The thing here show us, I can rest assured that this vision is going to go on, even if we have left the law school. I will now call on Joyce Nangwe, who is the director for LAWSA Gender Dex. And WOW is a program of the Gender Dex. So she's going to give us a little overview of what the Gender Dex is about and some of the programs that they have lined up.
No. Okay, maybe to stay on existing. Okay. So I did not write anything formal because I want us to have a conversation about WOW, legal sisters, and why we're here today. Firstly, many times we are being asked by our fellow students as to what is WOW. So today, permit me to explain to you what is WOW. So WOW is WOW. It is the Women on Women movement. We have the legal system. So we are the people. But what we do while movement, we about supporting each other. About how the let me wow, I started. So those are what we did not really have in-depth information, but upon our appointment, we were able to meet with Josh Mape, and she asked, what is this gender dex? What is it you want to do? You came to school. So what is it you want to do besides learning? And we say, okay, we want a space wherein we will have a place where we can meet, not only a physical space, we also want a mental space or emotional space that able to meet and gather our power together and empower each other through how we can sponsor programs and other initiatives. Somebody asked, okay, male. It's every program. So as we are in the school, we have discovered certain things. Liberia in general have issues. What are the issues that Liberia have? We are a deeply patriarchal society, and those traditions have hindered and have caused barriers against women. Coming to the law school is not anything different because the people society, the people in the communities are the same people that come to the law school who think they have some level or age of maturity or education, or we hope. But still, there are issues that can arise, and when those things happen, we want to be able to address them. So, hence the gender, hence the WOW movement, and hence the legal sisters. We would not be here. We have already given the recognition to your own church, Eva Martin Morgan, who have been a backbone. So there are times people say, okay, women support women, but you guys are the same. You are your issues or you are your problem. But it's not always the case because this couldn't have been possible if it had not been for her, not because she's here, but because of the support and how she has been able to pressure and be able to influence the administration to also support whatever one is doing. And we are also grateful to LAWSA, the government, for also understanding what is wow and what is important at this particular time. So today we are here to open an office
We will open a physical space that we will see maybe pictures or just painting, but it's not just the space. I want you to know that you are part of history that is the first of its kind in the law school, or any school that I know of to my knowledge of an establishment of a gender desk, or even women coming together to be able to address issues that affect them and find ways in which they can, influence change in their own lives. So what will we be doing? Is it just a space that will come and watch movies or just lecture? No. We have realized that men have spaces that they meet in. They may have entertainment center, they have their places of school where watch games, they have the time to bond, to lecture, to form, networks. But most times after school, women will go. Sometimes they will have to pick up the children, they will have to study and go. They don't have a place that they would meet for any religious or affiliation just for meeting sake so that they can be able to work on each other. So we are in law school, we have vigorous studies, we have people that have vast knowledge or vast power. How can we utilize those powers, those knowledge, those influences to be able to motivate each other so that we can build ourselves up? This is why here, there's a space. We have women, we have also always rely on our male counterpart, not a bad thing. There are people, there are women who have had experiences or knowledge, in certain subjects, but they will not come to certain sections because we have not sure believe that male have and always have better things, more knowledge because of the sense of understanding that they always, tap of certain things, which may be true sometimes, but it's not based on their gender, it's because a person is just smart. So can we have a space where it will also encourage female students that have those extra skills to come in? There are other young that do not have that particular skill. How can we ask former or justices or lawyers or professional female lawyers to come and explain to us the challenges they face outside, all through the law school, and also all through their professional career? How, as female, that their journey is different, and how have they tried to work things? And maybe based on their experiences, we can learn before going to those spaces so that we can be better equipped to deal with those issues. So that is why we are here. That is why is here. We appreciate you, and we will say thanks to everyone, all the students in the law school for all the support. So your curiosity and understanding is also, valid, but we also appreciate the support so far. And we were grateful as a coordinator of WOW that I do not recognize certain people here that have made to make this possible. So they will not have loved me calling them up, but I will still do. So I will start firstly by calling sis, okay, Council, let me run chest. Council Nelly. Sila. Is she there? She's somewhere around, okay.
Wow.
Yes, wow.
Wow.
Wow. We'll also call Council Brown Toku. What about it? Council Brown Toku. Council, no, her honor. Council Dagodisi. Council Catherine Yinka. Just think,
Wow.
wow. Mm-hmm. Senior Council Fasia Harris. Senior Council Kalia Mesa. Council Teresa. Wow, Mistress Teresa Bright, my apologies. Mistress Council Felisa Amakashi Taylor. So for us to have We'll go outside later. So they don't give us flower. So what do I put on top? Okay. So for us to be here today, these are the people who have sacrificed their time. Yes. And Senior Counsel Cornelia Crack, who is not here. Yes, she's the program director for LAWSA, and she has helped a lot in all that we've done here today. So we will want to take this time to extend our thanks and appreciation to you for the time for answering the calls, the messages. We appreciate you, and we hope that you will be fire cases and you're finished for your 18 years. I want my prayer. So thank you all. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Joyce and Nangwe, for all of the efforts you've put into this. And all right, we would like to recognize the presence of Councillor Joyce Woos of Woos and Associates Law Firm. You are welcome. And we also want to recognize Senior Counsel Anthony Benu Louis. You are welcome. We will now take special statements from the presidents of the different level of classes at the law school, starting with 1L, President James Lippe.
Wow. Women, oh women. I'm excited to be here. And one thing is, Masulati in the Bani Wanda, who also was not advising of Policy Smoke, and all faculty of the Louis Arthur Grammar School of Law. I want to also recognize our honored Judge Eva Mappy Morgan, who would all hold this program or this organization would have been a success. Wow. She's one person who is instrumental in all of our fight. And I want to say thank you, Mama. Thank you. We are law students or the men of the law school. We stand by you people. We support you people. We do everything in our power to make you people successful. Wow. Women, oh women. Wow.
Almost I in which power? Because I know we all here have the same ability. Let's now welcome the president of 2L. Okay, he's not here and he has asked Council Nere Sila to proxy for him. 2 minutes. Wow.
Permits me to stand on the existing protocols. And I just want to say, wow. On behalf of the president, Mr. Joseph Howe, members, officials and members of the second year now, third year law school students, we want to say thank you all for coming. We want you all to know that we will support the WOW movement and will be together moving forward, and WOW is here to stay. All thanks and appreciation also as I stand on this podium to her honor, Judge Eva Mappy Morgan. I know once upon a time we stood in her, we went to the court to visit her, and she said, Nettie, we need a space. We need somewhere for women to come together, somewhere that will feel comfortable, reaching out and talking to one another. And she said, we would just be like, wow. It just came out like that, just wow, women on women. And that's how the whole WOW thing started, and we started to push it. And here we are today. Thank you so much, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll also ask the Vice President for 3L. So proxy for President Maria Salome Smith. Jabba Johnson.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. On behalf of the president of 3L, I want to say thanks to all of us here present, especially the dean and everyone else that's here for taking up your time to be here. This means a lot to us. And Judge Mape, her owner, she has always been in Haiti hands. Sometimes you see the student so strong and so powerful. All you see is the student, but there's one woman in the back that I'm sure I'm taller than, who's always there propping us up and giving us, every inspiration we need to get to whatever that she wants of us. She has roughing us up so many times, but here we are today, and I'm sure she's proud. So thanks again for this program, WOW coordinators, and everyone who has been behind the scenes working hard to get this program to where it is today. I give it up.
Thank you. At this point, we will call on our, not guest speaker, but our motivational speaker, the person who is going to give us a few words of encouragement to be able to help us reflect as we enter into the time where we're going to actually be using the space. And she's Mrs. Lakshmi Moore. Lakshmi is the immediate past country director of Action Aid Liberia. She has a wealth of experience in gender work and women's rights work in Liberia and as a professional person. And she is a member, of the Liberia Feminist Forum. So I'd like to present to you Lakshmi Moore, who is going to share her own knowledge and thoughts with us as we use the WOW space.
Yellow. I like to stand on existing protocols. I'm pretty bad at that, so if you don't mind, I would just like to skip to the few words I'd like to share. First of all, I want to thank you all. I'm deeply humbled and honored to be here. I think it's quite an intimidating space to be among people who not only are responsible for, sort of the crafting of some of the laws that we have. I look at Dean Warner in terms of the Man Rights Act, and also in terms of just the fact that you all are our future leaders or our present leaders and the future leaders in terms of the legal framework of this country as we move forward. So I'm deeply honored for the invitation to be here. I also want to take this time to recognize the long history of organizing. It's already been said in a lot of ways in terms of from the work that was done, I'm sure, way before Judge Mape Morgan and her own legacy in terms of the support that she's given, and all of those who have come before you. And specifically, if you would permit me, I want to recognize Fasia, and I'll tell you why. In 2010, Action Aid partnered with Paiwe, and they did the first, it was called the Women in the City report. And that was the first report in Liberia that documented sexual harassment and sex for grades on university campus, including LU. And I remember the backlash that report got. I was not at Action Aid yet. And just by sharing that report, people attack Action Aid, they attack Paiwe. How would you say things like that? This thing, that normal thing on the campus, you don't ask again, what they're getting to be asking the professor for. So there's a huge backlash, and I want to recognize that, to see the work that was done and to come to this point where some of the things that they were asking for very early in 2010, for us to be in 2021, to see this is not only historic, but it's a testament to the organizing and what it means that when you are consistent and you are sort of persistent about the change that you're seeking. I also want to recognize Joyce. I'm really, really proud as a colleague to see the work that you've done and knowing where you're headed with this. Before I start talking forward, so I want to recognize that. Today is not only just a historic moment, but today is a symbolic moment. It's a beacon of hope to those that are on campus who see this space. It's a beautiful space, but it's also a physical manifestation of the women needs on campus, especially law students, to say we are here, we are present, and we have our space, we've carved where we are, and a beacon of hope to others who will be on campus to say, here's the space for you. I'm a graduate of Convent, so I know what it means to have a safe space to learn. I know what it means to have a safe space to be able to build confidence, to not check yourself or sort of correct yourself because some guy is trying to make you feel intimidated about why you're present, to not have to worry about all the panels that is selected, why you got to fight for one woman to be on the panel, because you're going to be all girls, right, or all women. So coming from that is where I've gained the confidence to be able to enter into any space, and no matter who, what, when, and how, to say, I'm here, I have equal rights as you, I'm here to be present, I have a voice, and I need to be heard. And so a lot of times, I credit that to that safe space, because we learned with each other, we connected with each other, we understood why today I'm not feeling okay. You physically sick? No. But you know why I'm not feeling okay and why I will not be able to attend that class. I don't need to have to explain that. And so I think one of the things that the beauty of this space is that that's why I say offers a beacon of hope, because you don't have to act like a man to enter the spaces. You don't have to second guess why you want to wear a skirt today on campus, because you have every right to come as you are, to be celebrated as you are, to be respected as you are. And that's why I think that offers. There's a lot that have been said that Liberia is a very patriarchal society, and that is true. It is deeply entrenched. It is reinforced by culture, by tradition, that say who's a good woman, who's a bad woman, and that trickles down into who's a good student, who's a bad student. For a lot of students, they are caretakers of their parents, of their younger siblings, or their wives, or their partners, and they come to school and they have to worry why in school, if we're running for PTA or we're going home to cook. These are the burdens that they bear. And a lot of times that doesn't come into class, because what happens is the professor will give the assignment and expect that woman and man will have equal time when they get home to do that and come back and breathe. But that's not the reality, because of the double burden of care. And so one of the things that I really like and I see here is that how the professors see this wild movement, not just as the women are coming together so that they can take care of each other, but how do you challenge yourself to take that into your own way in which you think about classwork? No one is asking for a safe class. No one is asking for you to hand free things to them. But what we're saying is that if you are engaging in women movement, this is not about a beautiful space in there. It's also about now, how do you take the politics of your solidarity with them and take that into your classes? How many of you, when you get even common thing like Davos, you say, you don't want to go to the team to the horse? Or how many of you say, this is a family business? Or how do you take into consideration that half of your women students in class that day might not be physically okay because they're on their period? And are you going to jump when they say, oh, I need to go downstairs to get a pad? That is the reality day in, day out, as compared to the male colleagues. So when you schedule classes, when you schedule exams, when you schedule sort of teaching, study class, these are all things that I hope the WOW movement translate into the culture of supporting women. So I heard earlier, you said, okay, we're going to make sure we're going to support you. So I'll start first by saying, how many women are we going to support to be on leadership positions? How many panels are you going to organize and ensure that, yeah, because you're president, that you won't got to talk? Okay, are you going to say, I offer my sisters the space to represent that? How many times are you also going to say, all of our kids we are equal? Let's make sure the women want to show themselves, put their foot forward, while you recognize that they at the same time do not carry the same burden of care. And I'm glad someone said, it's true. Men have their spaces. I can tell you, even in the professional setting, I know a lot of our sisters know that. The men, they'll have a real meeting. All go to the conference. After the conference, they'll go to the SAR road to start drilling the lake. I think the real meeting happen, even though you all discuss inside, they are now discussing at that space when, how, what the next agenda is. And who the woman are brave enough to leave her space and say, okay, the player going to drill all drill that to there. The first thing they will call you, they will say, the first thing you're looking for. The point is, this is the live in reality, and that's why the safe space is there. But again, the challenge is, how do we move the space to not just be about like women and go to into now the culture at the law school? I want to recognize that this year represents a huge number of women in the law school. And I want to congratulate a lot of the women that, you know, I heard that the top 3 students there, you're checking already. This year represents that. But I also want to challenge you to say that we don't want to break ceilings. We want no ceilings at all, because we want to be able to ensure that those that are coming after us, the challenges that have been created. So whether it is people who needed to know the information for law school, people who needed to know when to apply, how to apply, who's the best classes to take, who's the professor you need to avoid, sorry. But those are the things that we have to be, you know, when I say we, I'm in solidarity with you as a sister to say that as we do that, we have to look at this as a relay race. The changes that you're organizing for, that you have been successful today, came from people who organized before you. That's why I started with recognizing that. So what is the baton that you are willing to pass on? What is the structural changes you are willing to create? What is the sort of processes on campus? How do we increase representation? How do we ensure that WOW is present? What is that baton that you are handing over so that there will be no need for ceilings? There will be no need for, you know, sort of addressing some of those issues is a challenge to you. My second challenge to you also is that there are a lot of women outside of here that do not know what their rights are. And I'll say 2 things. There's the legal rights and the human rights. The legal rights is what the Constitution of Liberia recognizes, right? And to be honest, that is not comprehensive for women. There are still gaps in that. But we'll start first with the legal rights. There are a lot of people, a lot of women who don't even know that they have a right as compared to a man. And it is true day in, day out. So that is the world outside of this space. That is even women in the space who might not be in the law school, who also are facing that day in challenge. There's also the issue of access to information, services. You know, that's why more women in law school is important, because it also means more women in representation, more women who understand why a woman needs to file for child support, why a woman or a woman needs to file, you know, a certain case. It's also even in the corporate sector. A lot of people forget about that. When you are overseeing a case where a company is coming into town, do you ever ask, if that company takes over this community, what happens to the women and the livelihood in that community? So that's also a challenge to you as you go forward, because a lot of people go into the corporate and think the corporate is just strictly corporate, but women are impacted every day by business transactions that happen in this country. The last part is what I talked about earlier, the issue of being a woman. There's a legal right and then there's a human right. The legal system in Liberia dictates that me as a woman and my peer as a guy, that we engage in the legal system or our rights as citizens in different ways. It means that the way in which a man can be able to even become a president is a different way in which a woman would be. Because every day we interact with the law, but also the law does not recognize comprehensively what a woman is or what a woman's needs are. So a woman needs to make decisions about her body, to choose when, how, who, if she want to get pregnant or not. These are decisions that affect women's ability to move forward as compared to their male peer. And that's the thing about I think my challenge to the women is that don't just consider that the legal system as it is right now, as good as it is in terms of the practice, you know, there's a lay woman and a legal woman, that even that system is not comprehensive enough in recognizing women in Liberia. So one of the things in our work that we're trying to do is not only test the limits of that system, but also ensure that where those loopholes still exist, a girl still being forced to get married at 16 when the legal system say 18, women's rights under the Land Rights Act. These are things that are still not okay. So yes, we can come and celebrate the idea that we are doing legal work, that some women will know their rights, to be able to represent them, but please do not rest comfortably in assuming that this legal system that we have in Liberia is comprehensive enough. So just how we have a WOW in the law school, just how we want to have a WOW in and around us, we want to have a WOW in this country so that we will have no more ceilings. that there'll be no need to break it, and we can ensure that those that come after, that they are able to exercise their full human rights in this country. So I say thank you, and the challenge is yours.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. We need a wild space across Liberia. Yes. At this point, we will have a quick recognition of our supporters. And recently we had a dinner in order to raise funds to set up the space. And we had a lot of Liberians who also contributed to what you see there today. So in recognition, we would like to recognize Her Excellency Chief Joel Howard Taylor, the Vice President of Liberia, who contributed to the work that we're doing. Also our own Dean, Nibali Wanda, Councillor Nibali Wanda. Thank you for the support. We also want to recognize the Vice President of LAWSA, Wilhelmina Budi. Thank you, Council. We also recognize our student or Council Yeke Fokwa, who made contributions to the WOW. Councillor Jeru Kokoya also supported us, Medical Liberia, Oxfam, Sidiki Belete, May Ure, Vivian Ines, Council Vivian Ines, who is also a student, NASCOP, and from the Rotary, the regional office, Christopher Foster, he was also supportive of the work. So we're recognizing all of them coming forward that, made contributions to making this space a reality. See it though, because of pay law school, not easy. So you're thinking about how you got the money to beautify that place. A lot of people already bought the cost and they already in and supporting us. And they all are not present here to make remarks. So we will ask the few that are present under 1 minute to make remarks, but we also like to recognize the president of the president, of Mr. Matthias Yenle, the executive director for the Institute for Research and Democratic Development. You are welcome. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So we see, okay, Councillor, Councillor, it happened. Councillor Wilhelmina Budi, who is one of our supporters or sponsors today, event as present. And they can.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are grateful to the administration of the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law for affording us that space, and to the Coroner's government, of which I'm a part. We are grateful for everything. And we just want to say thank you, and thank you to our coordinator, George Namwe, and all women here present with our own men counterpart that have helped to bring light to such a beautiful space. We know that the space will serve us in many capacities. As our speaker just said, we are not just going to sit. That makes it a bigger platform for us as law students and incoming lawyers that will be able to defend the cause of women. We say thank you very much, and we look forward to working together.
We also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Puta Saki from the Swedish Embassy. I kept going over his name. Sorry, you are welcome, sir. Next, for remarks on our, Putas, will you make few remarks, quick 50 seconds before we continue on our list?
Thank you. Councillor Warner and members of your faculty, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not the one normally who will speak on behalf of gender at the embassy. It's my colleague, Dwedi Tappan. But gender is a fundamental principle that we work with. As you may know, it was in 2014, Sweden became the first country that espoused a feminist foreign policy. That meant they were instituting gender equality and gender justice across everything in the bilateral and multilateral relations in the overseas development assistance. So for example, if we
number one advisor all through our administration. It's been a wonderful thing working with her. Let's also give a round of applause to Joyce Nangbe and her team for pulling this off. And lastly, a round of applause to all legal sisters of the Louis Underground School of Law. So I want to start by, extending my thanks and appreciation to the women for their support during our elections. And after we became elected, we promised to have them included, and that has not been a mistake. Much of the progresses that we've made has been attributed to the inclusion of our women. They've been on the forefront in showing that we have what we have. They've been, everything we've done so far have been at influence mainly by the women in our administration, and we hope that further administration will see inclusion of women as an important factor to governance. We created the gender desk, and so far, I think it is yielding fruit to what we had thought of at the time we had a discussion. George has been very, very much forthcoming through her negotiation with several female legal minds, professors and administrators into making this happen. We thought to ensure that women are protected from abuses and other disrespects and discrimination, which we highly condemn. And we also want to re-emphasize on women inclusion and participation in leadership, which we believe will be a key to driving the success of this country and this institution that we all look forward to. What I want to do today is to challenge all that we call legal sisters, the women of this school, to make maximum use of the space that you've been given by the administration to ensure that it's not just a place to sit and have frivolous conversations, but to ensure that your discussions there will yield fruitful impact on the life of students at the school and students outside the walls of the Louis Underground School of Law. Let's make sure that happens. On that note, in my official capacity as president of the Law Student Association, I herewith formally announce Sister Joyce Nangwe as the director for the gender desk and acting WOW coordinator. I don't want to go through the rigor of appointing another person at this stage where I have to pass through legislative battles. So, George, as you've started, please continue with our WOW program so that we can have a smooth flow of operations. I'm also formally announcing Sister Felisa Magachi as a principal deputy on the WOW program, and Sister Bram Doko as the communication officer. I hope that you coordinate with our program officer and our finance director. I know her honor and George and all the other WOW team have been through an uphill battle. We have competing priorities on our projects and programs. So whenever they call us WOW media to say, well, we have a project that we're running with the pavement and other infrastructural developments that we need to manage how we're spending. So let's see how best we can keep that great relationship running for the fruitful, better learning environment of the Louis Underground School of Law. Thank you very much. Thanks to the ladies. Continue with the great work you're doing.
Thanks to the ladies, because we'll always be here and claiming our space. Thank you, Mr. President, for your remarks. And rest assured, the intent is not to use the space for frivolous conversations. So that is not part of the agenda. Thank you so much. We will now call on Councillor Joyce Woods for brief comments, and she will be followed by Councillor Moses Baker.
Good afternoon. May I stay on existing protocol? I'm proud and happy to be here as a woman. And like I said to the women who have graduated from the law school and who are practicing law, most of you are afraid to go to court. Most of you are afraid because you think the men will outshine you. And I say to you, do not be afraid. The law is the law. There's no way you can bypass the law. I tell you, I had an experience when I became a lawyer, an attorney and lawyer, and I was working with Councilor Coco Johnson. There was this case, and he had to go upstairs to the Supreme Court. And he left me to go and do a direct cross-examination with Estrada Bonal, who was a renowned lawyer in the Republic of Liberia. And I tell you, that was my first experience. And now I can face any man, anywhere, in any court. I have my own law firm, and we are moving. I say to you all have opened your desks here today. But please let it be a challenge to the women. We're talking about gender. Gender is both women, men, children. But please don't let it just be here. The women need us. The women up there do not know the rights, especially as it relates to the traditional women. So I ask that as you all open your desks today and as you all planning, we will come around, but let us show the men that the women can do it and we can do it better than them. And I know that you all will make us proud. So while I say to you, don't let it, like I said, don't sit down. You know, most of the time they say we women like to sit down, we just gossip and we study. But you prove to these men that you all will make the difference and that this desk will move forward and you will do and people will come and support you. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Councillor. We'll now call Councillor Moses Speaker for brief remarks.
Thank you so very much. Good evening. Adversaries pleading. So all of these superlative things having been said, and knowing myself very well, I don't want to keep you here. So all I can say at this juncture is that I hereby confirm and affirm all that you have said, and I incorporate them, I adapt and incorporate them into my statement. They are all good, and I just want to say a big wow, and in particular confirm and affirm Lakmi's challenges that she put out to you and encourage you to grab the bull by the horn, and we'll see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Speaker. We almost there. We got two more remarks, and the two remarks are from our two head of house. I will call them. We'll first call Associate Dean Padesimo. And there's a reason why we're calling him, because he interacts with us daily. The Dean will talk. The Dean is the chief-in-chief. That's all your own. We interact with him daily. We're looking for the space. We went back and forth with him and Mr. Jallo. So, Prosumo, Dean Sumo, please come and give us a word.
Boss is sitting down and you're expecting him to come and ask me to talk. So I got the existing protocol. Okay, good evening. It's a pleasure working with the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law. You make me feel awake every day, every time. The fact that I come here every day and I see almost every face that I see here, one way or the other, it makes me feel that I am deserving. And thank you for the interaction. I'm never exhausted. I'm never tired working with you. Back and forth is what makes the wild move. So when you come to me back and we go back and forth, as long as we are achieving, that's wow. So let's keep going back and forth and let's keep achieving, because what we achieve today will be the history of yesterday. So please come, please work, please make us do those things that will improve our school. And on behalf of the rest of the faculty, our staff, we're proud, especially for this administration in this time and in this space, because you've set a pace and you're raising the bar so high that we know that others coming after you can only strive to do better. We never had a refurbished library. The people before you started that. We never had a very conducive atmosphere in our library. You have also done that. You gave me a facelift. You gave me a name. You gave me an impression that those of us who came to this school 10, 15, 20 years ago are wondering, what are we doing here? What were we doing here? And we came to these same places, these same rooms. And you came, you saw bathrooms here were incredible. But today, I mean, you can freely and willingly go to the bathroom. There were many times, Joyce is my classmate. People law school here together. There were many times we will get in their car and drive out just to use bathrooms. This campus was that bad. But you see the difference? Our building stands out. It stands out because for two reasons. One, we have the best students. Two, we have the best dean. Those two reasons make our building stand out. We go to faculty, we go to Senate, we go to General Council meeting, and when we asking for something, it's like, you know what, doing that one, so what are you asking us for? The school is proud of us. The president before said this was their model school. And you are the one that's making it a model school. Thank you very much for the work you're doing, the initiative you're taking, the activity you bring to your studies. And last but not the least, we challenge you. Make a difference not only in the space, in your performance in the school, so that other women can see that yes, if they can make it in law school, I can also go there and make it. That is my challenge to you. Thank you very much for the activity. We look forward to the use of that space, and we'll be with you whenever and wherever you need us. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I'm supposed to call the dean. I'm supposed to call it the with protocol. So the most senior practitioner of our legal system in our base at the moment is Judge Eva Mbabe. Yes. Of the commercial court. And Judge Mape, we want you to speak before deans come up. Well, Judge Mape, you got 1 minute.
Half a second. So thank you all very much. And I really like to give special recognition to Dean Warner, because it is his energy, his passion, his zeal, his vision that we're all following. So Dean, thank you very much, because when we went to Dean and said, Dean, we need a space to talk about our menstrual circle, for example. Cycle, Dean was like, huh? What do you call it? You remember you said menstruating, I said, 18, I can't embarrass me like that. That don't mean I do young children, you know? But Lakshmi, that's some of the conversation we can have, you know? So we need a space for that. We need to talk, you know, women will support each other. Women will work with each other, and this is what we need. When you come here, you have husbands, you have children, you have partners, and you always hear us say that this law is a jealous mistress. Some people have been divorced, some people get married here, some people have died here, maybe because of studies too. So it's a tough place to be, but we are just encouraged, and for the deans, myself, and all of the professors, what we see is a perpetuation of ourselves. And this is what a good leader does. You perpetuate yourself. So as Dean is leaving this space, he is perpetuating. Others will follow him. As we are all leaving this space, we're perpetuating. Others will follow us. So that's what a good leader does. Like I like to say, I lead, I inspire, I motivate. What is that? Lynn. There you go. So, I can't tell you I might be for too many people. I know you're coming. If I see you. Okay. So yeah, thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Josh Morgan. Thank you so much. Now we'll call on our own team. Councilor T. Nibali Warner. Thank you so much. And we're not acting up. We do appreciate you.
Thank you. Please be seated, my good friends. I will stand on existing protocol myself, and I joined Councilor Pagan, my senior colleague, to say that I confirm and reconfirm everything I've said. Believe me, but I will add a few seconds, which Josh Mappy wasn't always like. A few seconds tend to go to a minute. But actually, I'm quite impressed with what you continue to do as students and as student leaders. They say that when you are the last to talk or you are at the end of the speaking list, you have less to do because everything has been said. So it's always good. But I will say that it's sometimes also disadvantageous because when you say what you plan while coming, people think that you are returning compliments. It's inflammatory. But I'm constrained to do that in a few cases, very briefly. First, everything that we have achieved here comes in large part on the willingness of the student to understand our vision, partly. Not all the time they will understand. But at least in terms of a genetic environment, having a very conducive environment, trying to invest in technology here and there. And so you went beyond just paying your school fees to the administration to accept for us to collect from you your facility fees, which you pay. That has been quite helpful. And so we appreciated that has helped us. If you talk powerful, you talk facilities, that's what it is. I have promised the administration, and I'm promising that to others while I'm remaining. All the facility fees that we'll collect from you, we will have to make sure that you keep it, since you have a vibrant legislature that the president is even afraid of. You keep that money, and when we need it, we will collect it because the university administration owes it to all to support us. If they see it in the law school cover, they have said it. We administer, I can say it, open it here. We administered entrance, and then they will say, you know what, the honorary, whether it's $1,000, they say you got money in the school fee, so we'll not give faculty member. No. Once we finish with Zoom, the money is collected from students. You'll keep your money, will come, will pay. Mind that is a promise on administration. You don't need to keep your money. But much is for you. Very briefly, somebody talk about how the facelift of the university has been recognized, how we have a very good library, how we have bathrooms, how we have a functioning website, how we now have our student leaders to have good office space, how you are now provided asphalt for the first time, how you now have a wild movement to be. I'm embarrassed that when people are getting these as part of the achievements that I've had, I look back in the privacy of my thought and I admit to myself that a substantial percentage of that, maybe 60%, is due to the motivation, encouragement, support, and dedication of one person, while we all take 40%. That is Judge Ivo Martin. And I say with sincerity, can you please rise to recognize Judge Ivo Martin Morgan? Your Honor, we appreciate you sincerely. Let me say it here. And that is the truth. So everybody will do. So please have your seat. And that's what I said. I did not want to return it. So history has been made. I think our motivator speaker said it. We will go back and say there's a wild movement that was created. From how that is done, the concept paper here and there, just how more people go through it. How do we get that whole library to be motivated? How do we get the students? How do we even get the stage where we have to overcome the threat that we could have the pavement and the Palava Hall will still be damaged and deteriorated. How do we solve all those things? I am saying, and Prosimo is here for us to do, you go and rectify it every stage. He has done most of it. So we have to do it with most of it. And to whom much is given, much is really, really not to whom much is given, but who has contributed much must be duly recognized. So if you go out there, let the message go. Why is it that Diwano is always paying respect to Judge Mappy Morgan? Go and recognize her, and she will be just the way you people. Avoid the publicity. She will do all the work even more than yourself. Go and clean and do all that. It will not be. Just because the person sees where we are going, look all ahead. She has all the business schedule. We gave some professors to say, do public go see, I will do it, she will do it. Just everywhere she has excelled, and I said it at a previous occasion, that is lady excelled in many ways that some of us are challenged to go there. So I wanted to just use this occasion for women more to do it. But what is the relevance? I sometimes avoid it because the people say, you know what? I think some of you have heard it. Just maybe mocking the thing, so much so they will do this and do that. I don't care about it because it's positive. If you ask me, I will go and be seeking wisdom from her about 300% time. I don't owe it to anybody. If you need it, you take it because that's what we carry. But it is significant here because we're talking about women on women. If there is anything to aspire, you got to look back to see other women that have come before you, other women that are among you, living legend, living inspiration, and see how their lives can challenge you to be better than they are. I think you have an historic opportunity to use what is being started here, or what was started again, but it's been formalized, to impact other people beyond yourself. You say, our goal and our impact will be not worth any much measure if it is limited to ourselves. The measure will be when we look beyond ourselves. I think it's worth it an effort for you to focus on yourself. See how you make this place safe. See how you encourage one another. See how you support one another with your studies, with all these cases. And you find in me a support. An ever-present support. If there are policies that you want us to make, we think we are being very progressive, but we might be very limited in our point because you all have criticized Assad and Nigeria, they're parochial and this paternalistic and everything, so I need to be. If there's anything you want us to do, you find in us willing partner to change those things. We want to make sure that we're not going to censor language, but we want to make sure that myself or the president will not speak to ladies with the hope that they will be doing anything frivolous. We will mind it because that alone will be suggestive. Yes. We will make sure that we will be mentioned because you are partners. It's nothing ill-intended, but it's just a question of what sensitivity we bring to these things. If we are making sure that grace are giving, you all know anonymously. If you believe that, look, there are some guys who know women penmanship, so let's find out we give out an idea. We will give it. Because they might not frighten me now, they will talk about sex for grace, instead of you do this. I think you can even go beyond, not only for here, but to help those on this campus, undergraduates, and other places to do studies to do impact. And in doing that, don't just take hours for granted. Maybe we have vulnerabilities, instead of them bring it to our point. Make use of the opportunity you have now. Make sure that you also use the opportunity, because we're going to get facility fees and we say people should be convening. Look at the speech this lady has made. Call other people to inspire you. Use it to create a little legal clinic that you can solve matters on just domestic relations. You can work with AFL. You can work with LAWSA to see this is what we'll be doing it. And other lawyers help you. You have low-hanging fruits that you can pursue. If I'm looking at Fasia, looking at other people who are all being sold by the time I was coming, when I'm leaving, I'm going to ask Fasia herself. She's now graduating, so she'll pay my job. But does Mabel Market say, if I don't pay your $40, she will put it in my book? I say, for Fasia to write my name, that is not an easy thing to pay. But I'm using that to say that you can find chance to do legal education. Many people have asked us, how can you have a little radio show, what is 30 minutes, that is well structured, that you invite the council figures of the world, the council who's to do it, and you yourself join in between structured topics that you will be doing. Many opportunities. My encouragement to end on, my dear friends, is that it's good to formalize this program, it's good to celebrate, but the challenge is now true to you. Can you promise us, or can I challenge you, that this office, the way it is beautifully arranged, will not just remain a beautiful office, but it will be a more impactful office beyond yourselves to people just nearby? All the people you see coming from Stella Maris that visit here to study their situation, to other people out there, other people are all addressing, so that when you leave, you have not only made impact while you are here, what you learn, you will carry out in the larger society, and with collaboration, you continue to make impact. Because I like what she said. There should be no glass ceiling. We should now be saying, let's protect the level field that have been established. That should be our objective, and not to be pursuing breaking ceilings. Ceilings show perpetual inequity. A level, protecting level playing field means we have achieved that level playing field, and that's what we are seeing. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Timona. Time is moving gradually. We'll now go to the cutting of the ribbons. I will ask Lakshmi, the dean, Judge Mape, Joyce, so please lead the way. And we'll cut the ribbons, we'll view the room, take photos, and we will have a little bit of refreshment. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for coming and continue to support this program as we all stand in solidarity. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It might be utilized. Nobody got to do George, have you not asked something? Game of prime. Huh? This is great. And she goes that food. Yeah. No choice. Madam Director, where Joyce? Joyce, now sit down your seat. Sit down your seat. Oh, Lord, working so hard. They're working very hard. There you go. I said, Chibo, Professor. I said, that's all. No, today was just in I told you, the desk. All of us here at the desk. But I'm not the video speaker. Where she? Yeah, it's all fine.